So I've been watching a lot of Ja. I'm going to say something that's completely sacrilegious. I want you to bear with me, especially you, Jackie. Like, I don't want you to like keel over anything because this is like the most hyperbolic thing I'm going to say in a
Oh,
while.
no.
Okay, get a drink first.
Oh, I wish it was whiskey. It's just tea. Go ahead.
Watching Ja.
No, I'm not going to like this. I already know. Go ahead.
So we were there for young Jordan.
Yeah. Oh my God. You're not comparing him to Jordan.
Just wait. This is why I said, take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Jordan, the most fun part of him the first couple years was when he would go to the basket and he would go up and crazy shit would happen. And there would be these double clutches and pumps, or he'd dunk over somebody. And it got to the point. And plus back in that era, guys were clotheslining him, guys were undercutting him. So there was a fear factor too, which I think we have with Ja. But the thing that was so great about him those early years was just how exciting it was to watch him go to the basket. And he was just doing stuff we really hadn't seen other than people like Dr. J. But even with Jordan, it was these double clutches. It was him sideways 45 degree angles and, these spins. And it's like how did he do that moments? And watching Ja this year reminds me of that. And I'm not saying he's Jordan, and I'm not saying he's the next Jordan, any of that stuff. I'm just like, when I watch him do that, it really reminds me of young Jordan, where there's a lot of how did he do that stuff. Initially I was like, he's Derrick Rose. He's next Derrick Rose. He's like Rose, Westbrook, like the same kind of thing. Rose and Westbrook couldn't do the stuff that he does. The double clutch, the triple clutch, the crazy fucking shit that he does. Wow. It reminds me of 80s Jordan. I'm sorry.
And the other thing that Ja Morant has done that those guys didn't do is Ja Morant can shoot. He's teaching himself how to shoot. Well, I'm sure he's getting some help. But I mean, the early knock on him was, well, he's just one of those guys, exciting guys, but he can't, defense will just sag off him and he can't make them pay. Well, I just don't think that's going to be true. So he's really fun to watch, but I'm sorry. I just can't go there with you. So sorry.
Listen, I'm not going all the way there. I'm not saying the Jordan. Yeah. I'm just saying this one specific quality really reminds me of Jordan. KOC, was that too hyperbolic or no?
I mean, it's probably too hyperbolic, but he sure as hell is fun. And I'm not going to let comparisons ruin my enjoyment of watching Ja Morant just like weasel his way to the basket or speed burst his way to the basket or just launch himself to the basket. Like he does it in so many different ways with the left hand, with the right hand. Like the other day against Orlando, like you mentioned how like Jordan would be getting clotheslined. Yeah. Ja had this layup where it was like this left foot, left hand scoop finish, and the Orlando help defender kind of the way he timed his jump, he like hit Ja flat to the ground. Unintentionally, but it was just like one of those moments that reminds you of basketball from the past when they were intentionally getting clothesline. But Ja is like remarkable, and I can't get enough of watching him drive to the basket. So in that sense, I love it very much.
He's a lock, right? For all NBA, we agree that. Like which team is he on?
If he could stay healthy.
Oh yeah.
Which team?
Well,
I'm just curious. I'm curious.
I think he's probably grabbing the Curry spot if he can stay healthy the rest of the year.
You really think so? Wow.
I think it's in play for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
First or second. Yeah.
Yeah. He's in the mix.
Yeah.
The other guy who's like this, just in this discussion of the going to the basket in the air stuff, young Kobe was like that too, right? I think as Kobe got older and kind of that 2006 to 2009 Kobe became kind of the dominant Kobe memory for people. And they, it was just, it was more recent, and he was the focal point. He had a little more space because Shaq wasn't there anymore. But you watch those late 90s Kobe games, and that was, you're just like, oh my God, this guy, the way he goes to the basket, Jesus. Vince was a little like that too, but Vince was a lot bigger. I think Ja, young Kobe, MJ, they were like kind of, there's a frailty to their bodies where you're nervous as they're going up.
Well, that Kobe, I did a piece with Kobe once a million years ago. I think I was at ESPN. I can't remember, but I sat down and watched film with him. I watched film of Oscar, and he showed me what he stole from Oscar. We sat down and watched like a lot of Jordan film, and he just stole everything. He was a thief, like all the great ones are, really.
Yeah.
And he was telling me early on in his career, he said like a lot of the stuff Jordan was doing, I couldn't do. Like he didn't know how to post guys up. He didn't know how to post guards up in the post, right? That was something Jordan told him about later on. But he's like, but I knew I had the athleticism to do. So he would like have films of Jordan. He would just sit there and watch him, kind of like Michael Cooper used to did when he was trying to figure out how to guard Larry Bird. He'd just watch him over and over and over again. So the fact that you think that reminds you of Jordan, that's by design. That's not by accident. Now, I'd be interested to know, like, has Ja Morant ever sat down and watched film of Kobe or Jordan? Or he probably hasn't. He probably is like, hey man, I'm my own guy, and this is how I do it. But I'd be curious to know.
Well, the thing that all three of those guys had, young Kobe, young Jordan, and what we see from Ja is he's going to the basket, and he's going to decide later what he's going to do, right?
Flight.
He's just like, I see a lane, I'm jumping, and then I'll kind of figure it out as this guy bounces off. And I think that's such a rare quality. Like Doc was like that too.
Yeah, Doc was.
Oh my God.
Connie Hawkins was the first one, but Doc
I didn't get to see Connie Hawkins.
Yeah.
But
well, very few of us did because he's blackballed. But yeah, Dr. J for sure. In fact, I was just talking to Dr. J for a project you and I are involved in a bit.
Yeah,
and he was telling me that the first foul line slam dunk, he wasn't planning on it. He was like going to go do the Big Dipper lay-in. And all of a sudden he's like, wow, wait. Wouldn't you love to be in the air and say, should I lay this in or should I dunk it? Like just one time in your life. Wouldn't you love that? Oh man, I would kill for that.